Hey everyone!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hannah Daily English, the podcast where we learn English through real, natural conversations. I am so happy you are here with us today.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I am James, and I am really excited about today's episode because this one comes up all the time in real life.
It really does come up constantly. Okay, so before we get into the lesson, Jameis, I have to ask you, did you buy anything recently? Like, did you go shopping this week?
Actually, yes, I went to buy a new coffee machine, and I was standing there in the store looking at all of them, and I honestly did not know which one to choose. There were so many options at so many different levels, and I kept thinking about the money. Is this too much? Is that one worth it? Should I spend more or less?
And actually, that story connects perfectly to what we are teaching today, because today we are talking about price and cost. Two words that sound similar, two words that seem like they mean the same thing, but native speakers use them in very different ways. This is something that so many English learners get confused about. Even advanced learners sometimes mix these up, so do not worry if you have done that before.
By the end of this episode, you are going to understand exactly when to use price and when to use cost. You'll sound much more natural in conversations, at the store, at work, in emails, everywhere.
I want to ask you a question right now, before we explain anything. Which sentence sounds more natural to you? Number one, what is the price of this? Or, number two, what does this cost? Write your answer in the comments right now.
Yes, write it down. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to Hannah Daily English so you never miss a lesson.
All right, let us get into it.
Okay, so let us start with the word price. Price is a noun. That means it is a thing, not an action. When we talk about price, we are usually talking about a specific number attached to a specific item, a number on a tag, on a menu, on a website, on a receipt.
Right. Think about when you walk into a store and you see a little tag on something. That tag shows the price. It is a fixed number. It's written down somewhere. Someone decided this item is worth this amount, and they put that number on it.
So the structure is very simple. Subject plus verb plus price. For example, the price is $20, or what is the price? Or the price of this coat is $100.
Here are some really natural examples that you might actually say or hear in real life. The price of this jacket is $50. I checked the price online before I came to the store. The prices at that restaurant are really high. I couldn't believe it.
Notice in that last one, I said prices, plural. We can talk about prices in general, like prices are going up everywhere lately. That's a very common thing to say right now. You'll hear people say this all the time. So price is connected to a specific item, a specific tag, a specific number. When you can point to something and say, this item is this amount, that is the price.
And here's something important. We often use price when we are comparing things or when we're shopping around. Like, I want to find the best price. Or, can you give me a better price? Or, I found a lower price at another store.
Oh, that one is very useful. Can you give me a better price? You might say this at a market or when you're negotiating with someone. It means, can you lower the number?
Now, let me ask you something. Practice this with me right now. Think of something you bought recently. How would you use the word price to talk about it? Say it out loud. For example, I might say, the price of my new phone was really high, but I needed it for work. Okay, your turn. Say your sentence out loud right now. Seriously, say it.
Now, let's also look at some really common phrases that use price. These are expressions that native speakers use all the time. The first one is price tag. A price tag is the little label attached to an item in a store, but we also use it more generally. The price tag on that bag is $300. I almost fell over.
We also say price range. This means a low number and a high number that you're comfortable spending. I'm looking for something in the price range of $50 to $100. This is very useful when you're shopping and you want to tell a salesperson your budget.
And we say asking price, especially for big things like houses or cars. The asking price for that house is $400,000. The asking price is what the seller wants, but sometimes you can negotiate.
So, to review, price is a noun. It refers to a specific amount for a specific item. We use it when we're talking about numbers on tags, menus, and websites. We use it when shopping or comparing, and it appears in many common phrases like price tag, price range, and asking price.
Write one example in the comments using the word price. Tell us about something you bought recently or something you want to buy. Use the word price in your sentence.
All right, now let's talk about cost. And this one is interesting and a little more complex because cost can be both a noun and a verb.
Yes, and that's also one of the reasons it confuses people.
Let's start with cost as a verb, because that's how you'll hear it most often in everyday conversation. When cost is a verb, it means to have a certain price or to require a certain amount of money. The structure is very simple. Something costs an amount. Subject plus costs plus amount.
So, for example, this coffee costs $3. That car costs $20,000. How much does this cost? Does this cost more than $50?
And that question, how much does this cost, is honestly one of the most important and most common questions in English. You will say this almost every day when you're shopping.
Compare it to, what is the price of this? Both questions work and both are correct, but how much does this cost sounds more natural and more casual in everyday conversation.
Think about when you walk up to a food truck or a market stall. You wouldn't usually say, "Excuse me, what is the price of this sandwich?" That sounds a little formal, a little stiff. You'd more likely say, "How much does the sandwich cost?" Or even just, "How much is the sandwich?"
Exactly. The verb form feels more conversational. Now, let's look at cost as a noun. When cost is a noun, it often refers to a total amount or the overall money involved in doing something, not just buying one specific item.
So, for example, the cost of living in this city is very high. We are not talking about one specific item here. We're talking about the total money you need to live your life. Rent, food, transport, utilities, everything together.
Or, the cost of the project was more than we expected. We are talking about the total money spent on something from beginning to end.
Here is a useful comparison that I think will make this really clear. You would say, the price of the apartment is $2,000 a month. That is a specific number for a specific thing.
But you would say, the cost of renting in this city is very high. That is more general. It is about the overall financial reality of living somewhere.
Cost is also used a lot in business and formal English. We need to reduce costs. What are the production costs? Please send me a cost estimate. The company is trying to cut costs.
But cost is also very common in everyday casual speech. This vacation cost us a lot of money. How much did that cost you? It cost me $50 to fix my bike. Dinner last night cost more than I expected.
Now, here is something very important that I need you to remember. Cost does not change to costed in the past tense. This is one of the most common mistakes, and we will talk about it more in the mistakes section, but I want to introduce it now. The past tense of cost is still cost.
Yesterday, it cost $10. Last year, it cost $5. 10 years ago, it cost $2. No S at the end, no D at the end. The word stays exactly the same in the past tense.
Say it with me right now. It cost. It cost me. It cost him. It cost her. It cost us. Say those out loud.
All right, so now that we understand price and cost separately, let us talk about how they work together and the key differences that will help you choose the right word every time.
So here's a simple way to think about it that I want you to remember. Price is usually about a specific number for a specific item, the tag, the menu, the label. Cost is more about the total money involved in something, or it is used as a verb to describe what the amount is.
Let me give you a real-life situation. You are at a car dealership. You might ask, what is the price of this car? You are asking about the number on the sticker, the specific amount written on that specific car.
But later, when you're telling your friend about it, you might say, that car costs way too much. You are using cost as a verb to describe the amount in a more casual, conversational way.
And when you think about everything together, the car itself, the insurance, the gas every month, the maintenance, the parking, you might say, the total cost of owning a car is really high. You're thinking about the big picture now.
So in one situation, all three uses come up naturally. Price for the specific tag, cost as a verb for what it costs in conversation, cost as a noun for the total big picture, and all three are correct and natural.
Let me give you another situation. You're planning a trip abroad. You might say, the price of the flight is $300. You found a specific ticket and it has a specific number.
But when your colleague asks how the planning is going, you say, oh, traveling internationally costs so much these days. Everything has gone up.
And when you come back and your friend asks how it was, you say, the trip was amazing, but the total cost was more than I budgeted for. You're summarizing all the money you spent overall.
Now, let us talk about something really beautiful and important. Cost can also be used in a non-money way. This is one of my favorite things about this word.
Yes, this is where English gets really interesting and expressive. We say, it cost him his job, meaning he lost his job because of something he did. There is no money involved at all, but we use cost to talk about what was lost or sacrificed.
The argument cost them their friendship. That one bad decision could cost you your career. The injury cost her the championship. In these sentences, cost means the negative result, the loss, the sacrifice.
And price can work in a similar way in some expressions. We say, he paid the price for his mistakes, meaning he suffered the consequences. Or, there is always a price to pay for success, meaning success always requires some kind of sacrifice.
Or, fame comes at a price, meaning being famous looks wonderful, but there are negative things that come with it too.
These are what we call idiomatic expressions. They are phrases where the meaning goes beyond the individual words. You will hear them a lot in movies, in books, in news articles, and in real conversations.
Let us practice. Try to use cost in a non-money sentence right now. For example, his laziness cost him... Can you finish it? Say your complete sentence out loud, then write it in the comments. We genuinely want to read what you come up with.
And if you want a challenge, try using price idiomatically too. She paid the price for... Finish that sentence. Let your creativity go.
Okay, this is one of my favorite parts of every episode. Common mistakes. And I want to say right away, James and I make mistakes too, in our own languages, in English, all the time. Making mistakes is completely normal, and it is actually a really important part of learning.
Completely normal. The goal is not to be perfect from the start. The goal is to understand, to practice, and to improve a little bit every day. So let's look at the most common mistakes learners make with price and cost.
Mistake number 1, using costed instead of cost in the past tense. This is by far the most common mistake with this word, and it is very understandable. It makes complete logical sense to say costed because most English verbs add d or ed in the past tense. Started, walked, talked, helped. So your brain just follows the pattern.
So learners naturally say, it costed me $20 yesterday. But native speakers say, it cost me $20 yesterday. The verb cost is irregular. It does not follow the regular pattern.
Here's a great trick to remember this. Think of other irregular verbs that also do not change in the past tense. The verb cut. I cut my finger yesterday, not I cutted my finger. The verb put. She put the book on the table, not she putted the book. The verb hit. He hit the ball, not he hitted the ball. Cost belongs to this same family of verbs.
Practice the correct form right now before we move on. Say out loud, "It cost me $20. It cost him a lot. It cost her everything. It cost them their friendship." Keep saying those until the correct form feels completely natural to you.
Mistake number 2, using the price of when a simpler phrase would sound more natural in conversation. So, in a casual situation, instead of saying, "Can you tell me the price of the coffee?" a more natural question is, "How much is the coffee?" Or, "How much does the coffee cost?" Or, simply, "What does it cost?"
Using the price of is not wrong at all. It is perfectly correct English. But in spoken casual conversation, it can sound a little formal, a little stiff, like you're reading from a textbook. Save it for more formal situations, for writing, for professional settings.
Mistake number 3, confusing cost and worth. These two words are related, but they are not the same thing, and mixing them up can cause confusion.
Worth is about value, about what something means to you or what it deserves. Is this phone worth $300? You're asking if the value matches the price. This experience was worth every dollar. You felt the value was there. But cost is just about the amount of money. This phone costs $300. Just the number, no judgment about whether it's worth it or not.
So the mistake sounds like this. Sometimes learners say things like, "This cost a lot of worth," which does not make sense in English. Cost and worth work differently in a sentence, and you cannot swap them in most situations.
Mistake number 4, forgetting that cost can be used in non-money situations. Because learners learn cost and price together as money words, they sometimes try to use price in non-money situations where only cost works.
You cannot say, "It priced him his job." That is not natural English. You must say, "It cost him his job." In non-money, emotional, or consequence situations, only cost works. Price does not function the same way in those contexts.
So, to summarize all 4 mistakes, number 1, do not say costed, always say cost. Number 2, try using how much in casual conversation instead of the price of. Number 3, remember that worth and cost are different. Worth is about value. Cost is about the amount. And number 4, in non-money situations, use cost, not price.
None of these mistakes are terrible. Native speakers will understand you completely no matter what. But these small adjustments are exactly what takes your English from textbook level to natural, fluent conversation. And that is what we are all working toward.
All right, time for some interactive practice. This is the part where you actually use what you have learned. I'm going to give you some situations and 2 options. You choose which one sounds more natural. Say your answer out loud before we give the explanation. Saying it out loud is the key.
Ready? Here we go.
Situation 1. You are at a street market and you want to know how much some fresh fruit costs. Option A. What is the price of these apples? Option B. How much are these apples?
Both are correct, but option B, "How much are these apples?" is more natural in a casual, spoken setting like a street market. Option A is fine and grammatically perfect, but it sounds slightly more formal. In that relaxed outdoor market situation, most native speakers would go with option B.
Situation 2. You are telling a friend about a colleague who lost their job because they lied. Option A. His lie costed him his job. Option B. His lie cost him his job.
Option B. Always option B. Remember, there is no costed in natural English. His lie cost him his job. Practice that exact sentence. Say it out loud right now. His lie cost him his job.
Situation 3. You are writing a business email to your manager about company expenses. Option A.
Please review the attached cost report. Option B. Please review the attached price report.
Option A. In business and formal professional writing, cost is the standard word when you're talking about expenses and budgets. Cost report, cost analysis, cost estimate, these are all standard professional terms. Price report is not a common business expression.
Situation 4. You're shopping for shoes and you find a pair you really like and you want to say they seem affordable. Option A. The price of these shoes is very reasonable. Option B. These shoes cost very reasonably.
Option A is much more natural here. When cost is used as a verb, we do not usually follow it with an adverb like reasonably in that way. We would say, these shoes are reasonably priced, or the price of these shoes is very reasonable. Or you could say, these shoes cost a reasonable amount, but not these shoes cost very reasonably.
Situation 5. Your friend is asking about the overall expense of living in your city. Option A. The price of living here is really high. Option B. The cost of living here is really high.
Option B. The cost of living is actually a fixed phrase in English. It's an expression you'll hear constantly in the news, in conversations, everywhere. The cost of living refers to how much money you need to cover your basic expenses in a place. You would not normally say the price of living.
Now, your challenge. Write your own sentence in the comments using both price and cost in the same sentence. For example, the price looked good online, but the total cost after delivery was much higher. Can you create your own original sentence? Try it. Write it in the comments. We'll read them.
And if you want an extra challenge, try using cost in a non-money way in your sentence too.
All right, we have covered so much today, and I hope it all makes sense now. Let us bring it all together with a quick review.
Today, you learned 3 key things about price and cost that are going to make your English sound much more natural.
First, price is a noun that refers to a specific amount attached to a specific item. The number on the tag, the menu, the label, the sticker. The price of this is $50, and it appears in useful phrases like price tag, price range, and asking price.
Second, cost can work as both a verb and a noun. As a verb, it describes the amount something requires. This costs $20. As a noun, it often refers to total expenses or the overall financial picture. The cost of living is high. And always remember, no costed. The past tense is always cost.
Third, both price and cost can be used beyond money. Cost, especially, is used to talk about what is lost or sacrificed. It cost him his job. That decision cost her everything. And price appears in expressions like paid the price and at any price.
You are doing so well. Seriously, the fact that you listened to this entire episode and practiced along the way means you are already miles ahead of where you were when you started. Learning a language takes time and consistency, and you're showing both of those things right now.
Here's a question for you to think about before you go. Think about your own life right now. What is one thing that costs more than it used to? And is there something in your life that you think is really worth the price?
Write your answers in the comments. We genuinely love reading them, and it also gives you real practice using these words in context. That is exactly the kind of practice that helps your English grow.
If this episode helped you today, please like it and share it with a friend who is also learning English. That kind of support means the world to us, and it helps more people find these lessons.
And please subscribe to Hana Daily English so you get notified every time we release a new episode. We're here every week with new lessons that will help you understand and use real English the way native speakers actually use it.
Leave your practice sentences in the comments. Use price in one sentence and cost in another, or try the challenge and use both in the same sentence.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. You're not just learning vocabulary, you're building the confidence to have real conversations. And that is something truly valuable, something no price tag can measure.
Well said. We'll see you next time, everyone.
See you next time. Keep practicing, keep speaking out loud, and keep going. You're doing great.